What is up, Fights with Friends? What a crazy, crazy week going on in somewhat of an off season. So-called kind of our short little off season, like our 3-week break from MMA. But Colby Covington is taking no breaks and taking no prisoners right now, as Dana White seems to be going back on that promise of promising him a title shot, and that interim belt seems to be no good anymore. It has not been that long since Colby Covington has fought. And I never thought I would find myself on the side of Colby Covington. But here we are. Is this a calculated move by the UFC to try to get support for Colby Covington? There's a lot of angles you could come at this from. That might be the least obvious, the least likely, but this whole thing just does not make any sense to me whatsoever. Let's jump into the comments. What's up, Maro Yamasaki? Hello. Yes, this is a late one for us. New set of well, not the set I would like to see. I'm in a different room. The wife was supposed to have the Fights with Friends vinyl on the wall behind me. I do have my autographed Mike Tyson photo behind me here. I'm up in another room, away from everybody else, so, you know, happy about that. They're happy they can watch TV in peace. And countdown is real. Colby, you smell like koala armpit. Oh, jeez. Shout out to you, First Last. How you doing? Shout out to the American winning machine, Colby Covington. He has been on a tear. For sure. I think Tyron is dodging him and making it look like the reverse. That's certainly one strategy. What's up, Mara Yamasaki in the house? Hello, sir. Woodley is the privileged one. I like that. Usman, you're lined up. Now catch the fade. Who do you think wins Pacquiao versus Broner? If Broner's even able to fight, did you see Adrian Broner, the human piece of shit he is, has another charge of assault against a female against him. And this guy has more assaults on females than he has assaults in the ring. I mean, you think John Jones has gotten some chances in his life. Take a look at the life of Adrian Broner. The true human piece of garbage. Usman is just a weaker, slower, less creative version of Colby. I don't see Usman giving Woodley a real hard shot. A real tough shot. I agree with you on that one, Zoltan. Crowd will go crazy for you, Mike. Thank you. Thank you, First Last. I'm making the UFC great again. Thank you. That is why they stripped Colby of the interim belt. Politics got in the way of Colby beating Woodley. That's interesting. Panhead Bob is in the house. Good evening, sir. And JT is here. For being real, Usman literally beat Colby's sloppy seconds. Absolutely. Cracked a beer early. Well, it's not early. It's 7 o'clock at night. So start this baby off with a beer. What's up, 7? You guys know interim belts don't mean shit. Well, they might as well just melt the interim belts out and never give one out again after that. It's a better fight, Mike. First, you think Kamura Usman's a better fight than Colby and Tyron, or are you being sarcastic? I'm not trying to be funny. I don't know. Mikey, shout out to me. It's your boy's birthday. Comedic genius. Happy birthday. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Comedic Genius. How you doing, my friend? And spending your birthday here on Fights with Friends with the Fights with Friends family. What better way to spend it, right? Good to see you live on a Wednesday night. It's Tuesday night, Panhead Bob, but yeah, for sure, man. Colby didn't get paid by UFC for trip to Australia because Verdum threw boomerang at him. Oh yeah, that was hilarious. I'm good, Mike. Shout out back to you. Who do you think is tougher for Woodley, Usman or Colby? Colby for sure. I think it's Colby. I think Colby's a tougher fight. Interim means champion if the champion doesn't come back, or number one contender status. It barely means number one contender status anymore. Yeah, I mean, Dana White's talked about how we need to keep the legitimacy of the interim belt and tried to defend it, and then he just went and completely delegitimized it himself. And he's just been his own worst enemy this last year. Colby beats Maya, then Usman beats him. Colby beats RDA, then Usman beats him, and he gets the shot. Yeah, very interesting. He fights two of the same fighters that Colby had beaten. And as we know, fighters can be broken by other fighters. Very much so. We seen this, I thought, when TJ Dillashaw beat Renan Barão. Renan Barão was never the same fighter. They said it was a fluke. He came back, beat Renan Barão even worse. They said, that's because Renan Barão's at the end of his career. TJ Dillashaw beats a tough Cody Garbrandt, Cody Garbrandt comes back again. TJ knocks him out even faster. That's two guys you can talk that were top contenders. That just TJ Dillashaw might have turned those guys from contenders to pretenders. Seriously think Usman is a better fight for Tyron than Colby Covington? A better fight for the fans or a better fight for him? I don't know. I mean, Kamura, he just doesn't finish fights. He doesn't excite me. Politics is ruining UFC. Yeah, I was really thinking about this earlier, Jason. When I made that video, I was looking through all of, the controversy that the UFC used to have in getting legalized and all these different things. And it was a fight. It was always a fight, and the fans were kind of on the side of Dana back then. And it's like we want to get MMA legalized. We felt like people were keeping us from something that we wanted to see. And now you don't have that anymore. You don't have that to fight against. I mean, even though, the UFC was constantly in threat of being banned there for a while in almost every state, there's something exciting about that. There's something about feeling like you're watching something that you shouldn't be, or something that you're watching that could be illegal, literally illegal at any time. And the UFC doesn't have that drama now, and it always makes me wonder now, did they decide they had to start manufacturing their own drama? You look at the controversy behind the Conor McGregor bus incident. You look at a lot of other different things. The Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov drama. And then the drama now between Colby Covington, who was, I thought that he was Dana White's golden boy. And now all of a sudden, he misses one fight for a sinus infection. He misses like 2 months, and you go from first to worst. I don't know. Drama sells. Drama sells, and I wonder how much fighting we're being sold and how much drama we're being sold. Comedic says, happy B-Day, Comedic. Or 7 says, sorry. UFC told Colby would cut Colby win or loss versus Damian Maia. It's the reason why he did the infamous filthy animal speech, and since that, he has become one of the best trash talkers in the game. He's certainly much better. Colby has been running from Usman. Usman is bigger, stronger. Zoltan's a slower, more hesitates. Colby is more aggressive. I think Colby's a tougher matchup. Usman, he's one of those guys that just continues to win, though. And I was surprised that Dana made this fight for a lot of reasons, but one of them is that the fans don't particularly seem to care one way or the other if Kamura Usman fights or not. Now, Colby Covington, everybody realizes that Colby Covington cut himself a name by being the bad guy. The guy you love to hate, the guy you pay to see get beat up. I mean, he took the Floyd Mayweather Jr. print and he ran with it. When those of you that are old enough to remember when Floyd Mayweather was Pretty Boy Floyd, he couldn't sell a fight. He couldn't sell out an arena. Then he became Money Mayweather. He started talking a ton of trash. And he started fighting people that were very popular. He started insulting them. He started doing things to make the crowd like the other guy. We wanted to watch Arturo Gatti beat Floyd Mayweather. We wanted to watch Oscar De La Hoya beat him. We wanted to watch, Sugar Shane Mosley beat him. Even Arturo Gatti, all these guys, we wanted to see him get beat. And he danced out on top and made way more money than he ever would have as a good guy. I think wrestling will be canceled out and both can crack, but I think Woodley is more dangerous. It could be a snooze fest, though. Could be. You need fight Woodley with aggressive style, not Usman style. Yeah, I agree. Woodley's a different animal, man. And I honestly, I pick him heavily over either one of these guys, over Colby or Kamura. Colby, how the hell you take a boo-boo belt to the White House? Usman is way bigger than Woodley. Woodley is a very small welterweight. He is thick, though. Yeah. He's a strong dude, too. He's powerful. He hits hard. It's because Kamura wasn't fully charged. Neither does Colby, for that matter, Mike. 30%, says Mara. UFC is ruining the UFC. I'm hearing that from so many people right now. And on the cusp of making this $4 billion deal. This is incredible. And this shows you, I think, the whole time how the UFC was run. The Fertitta brothers, Lorenzo was the CEO and the president. He ran the thing. Dana White was the promoter. And that's what Dana White does. He promotes and he's good at scouting talent. WME took over a company and didn't replace the president. They just took the guy that was the promoter and the scout guy and said, now you're going to do all this stuff. And Dana, having the ego he has, says, I'm going to do all this stuff. So basically now you have a company that you took over, the president and CEO left, and you just didn't replace him, and you're running a company without a president and CEO. And this is the result. That's just my take. Who do you think has the better gas tank, Usman or Colby? I would say Colby because he's more active. They both have tremendous gas tanks. I will definitely say that. I have not seen Colby get tired. I don't really recall seeing Usman getting tired either. I think Colby has a deeper emotional game. I think as far as lung capacity, cardio from woodwork and everything like that, I think that the difference between is pretty negligible. But I think Colby just has that little bit extra to dig down deep. When is Colby going to fight next? Did you hear him complaining in recent videos? What about Ben Askren? Oh, I know Ben Askren said, what do you think, dummy? He says, you trusted Dana White. What did you think was going to happen? And I mean, that's horrible, but I mean, kind of a smart move by Ben Askren because, you know, catch Colby Covington while he's emotional, while he's pissed off. He's kind of kicking him while he's down, but you want to get a fight with Colby Covington, that's the way to do it. Piss him off. I seen Pettis wants to fight Wonderboy at 170. I think Pettis has a suicide wish. I like Anthony Pettis. I think he's been getting tagged at 155, though. You never know how people are going to respond when they go up, though. Look, I didn't think Michael Chiesa was going to do well at 170. And he had a brilliant performance this last weekend. This last Saturday against Carlos Condit, the natural-born killer. Man, I recently heard that Khabib will fight Conor again in 2009. Yeah, I did hear that. Didn't White say Tony was next? I hate Dana White. How does Conor deserve a title shot over Tony Ferguson? I seen that they said he would fight him in 2019. I didn't see them say anything about Ferguson, but you can't assume that anyone gets past Fergie. You know, that guy's tough. You can't just be like, oh, after they beat Tony Ferguson. No, this guy is top of the food chain. I mean, he can beat anybody on any given night. On the right night, he might beat them both back to back. Dude is an animal. Usman is more active recently, but Colby has much better gas tank, constant pressure in your face. I agree. There you go, Colby. Fight Askren. He shouldn't have to, but I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. This is what Woodley wants. Make Askren fight all the guys Woodley wants to dodge. Oh, you know, it's a brilliant move. That's what Woodley wanted. Bring Ben Askren over, knowing you guys aren't going to fight. Yeah, he can go over. Then, if he doesn't beat him, you know, then you might have to fight him. But a lot less chance that you'll have to get into the cage with him. That's a great point. I get it. Dana White wants people who are big draws, but damn, give it to the more deserving. I hear they're Torn Brown, but it seems like Colby Covington was not only the more deserving because he was the promised one, and then he's certainly more entertaining. He's definitely more entertaining than Kamura Usman on a mic, and I think he's more entertaining in the cage as well. What's up, Torn Brown? How you doing, sir? Party, says 700 Gabriel in the house. What is up, my friend? Man, I gave a lot of my ex-chicks, boyfriends, a ass-kicking when they came at me. Woodley wants to use Askren as his gatekeeper. You got cardio Colby. Welcome Ben Askren to the UFC. Mikey, I want the shower curtains back. Well, we might get something like that up here. We got to get the vinyl on the wall. Like I said, my wife, she's supposed to have it up on Saturday. I did my part. I moved everything up here. I tore down my whole desk, my whole office, and moved it upstairs. She's slacking. No, she's got a good excuse, though. It's personal stuff that happens. So she's got a good excuse. It'll get done. Anthony Pettis doesn't need to move up 170. He should stay at 55. I believe he would be small at 170. I agree. So I agree with that too. Adrian Broner's like the version of Mayweather that you actually get to see get beat up every once in a while. That is an awesome statement, JT. You are absolutely correct. And I think he's going to get beat up one more time by Manny Pacquiao. I'm not going to pay to see it. It's on January 19th, the same day as the Dillashaw versus Cejudo fight. I think that not only is that card free and Broner and Pacquiao's on pay-per-view, it's more interesting. If they were both free and I had to pick one to watch, I'm taking that ESPN Plus card. Broner's like the version of Mayweather. Oh, and you said that Floyd is whack, washed up. Next topic. UFC is doing good on the stock market. Did they go public? They weren't public before. What do you mean doing good on the stock market? I'm not sure what you're saying, Jason. I think maybe I missed something. I think you have to pressure Woodley, but also not get caught, so it's a hard style to beat. That deal screwed up everything. Garbrandt is returning against Pedro Munoz. I seen that. There are so many fights coming up. What's his name? Big Ben's coming back too. Big Ben Rothwell. After, I can't believe it's been 2 years since he got suspended. He's coming back. You have, of course, Cain Velasquez and Francis Ngannou going at each other. And you got a lot going on in the heavyweight division right now. And they just announced a ton of fights. A ton of fights. And good time to announce them when, when there's nothing else going on. Keep the UFC in the news. Woodley is one of the most jacked fighters on the roster. Absolutely. UFC is WWE owned by the man himself, Vince McMahon. Facts. Was 2018 the year of the double champ? What do you think 2019 will be? Triple champ. Well, there's two people that could be triple champs, which I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that, but the two people are TJ Dillashaw, of course, could go down if he gets that belt at 125. He wins that one. I don't know that I see him beating Holloway, but if Holloway moves up, he definitely could win a vacant title against Frankie Edgar or, somebody else. I don't see him beating Brian Ortega either, though. Colby dared Dana to cut. Oh, I love that. He says, cut me. You won't cut me. You won't cut me. And I have yet to see Dana really respond to that. He says, you're chicken to cut me. He dared him to cut him. I mean, he would have been in ONE FC like that. ONE FC or Bellator. Colby, I could not stand Colby Covington at the beginning of this year. And he's still certainly not my favorite fighter. But you want to talk about someone adding value to themselves throughout 2018. I don't know that anybody added more value outside of the cage to their name than Colby Covington. I mean, it was the last guy and maybe the only guy to add that much value to his name outside of the cage was Conor McGregor. 2019, year of the picogram. It's going to be interesting what happens with USADA. They cannot just cut them, though. Bum fights are better to watch, people. I love it. I think Rockhold might be better at 205. He cuts a lot of weight. Woodley versus Usman equals snooze fest. Woodley versus Colby equals mauling. Yeah, Pettis moves up and see what it feels like. Yeah, that's a tough one. I just don't know if I see him that big. I mean, he may have a lot more energy moving up, though. We've seen fighters move up and have more energy, not cutting those last couple pounds. And, of course, Amanda Nunes is the newest example. I mean, how much weight does Cyborg cut to make 145? I mean, she's cutting 20 pounds, 15 to 20 pounds like the 3 days before the damn fight. Pettis isn't thin anymore, has to move up. He did put on some muscle all of a sudden. I did notice that. I definitely has. I wish the Yakuza ran the UFC. Oh, that is great, Norris. Jay says, Colby does have a good style to go against Woodley, but Woodley has the KO power. I think he could get in his head, too. I think Woodley is susceptible to mind games. Just nobody's tried it yet. Woodley versus Usman is a chess match. I think so, too. I'm just not interested in that fight. Seems like Tony has to beat everyone in the division, and then he could possibly maybe get a title shot. Who hasn't that guy beat outside of Dustin Poirier? I mean, he hasn't beaten Dustin Poirier, and Conor wouldn't fight him, and he hasn't been able to make the fight with Khabib. Is there anybody else that he hasn't beaten? Not that I can think of. Do you think Tony Ferguson would stand with Conor Like, what do you think his strategy would be like? I don't think he would stand with him early because Conor is so powerful early. I don't think, I think he kind of stays away from Conor, maybe goes for a takedown. I think he kind of has a filling out round the first round. Let Conor expend a little bit of energy. Just don't get knocked out. Halfway through the first round, honestly, I think that's when Conor starts to lose just a little bit. And that it takes adrenaline sometimes to get him to the end of the second. Then he gets a little bit of rest, a little bit of adrenaline. He gets halfway through that third round, and I think he starts to die off again. Now you get through 3 rounds, and Conor has a big problem. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Body type. He's a big gainer. He's carrying a lot of muscle now. For his body structure and the way he fights, he throws punches with everything. He doesn't take time off in the fight. He doesn't like to hold. He did what he had to do against Khabib, but this is not a guy that's gonna, that's looking at the clock, that's holding, that's stalling. This is a guy that's trying to knock you out at all times. Pedro is going to knock out Cody. Watch. I don't disagree with you, Tyron. I think there's definitely a good chance on that. He is corny on the mic, Mike. Colby is like nails on the chalkboard. He's much better than he used to be. I will definitely give him that. Ferg would dive roll into leg lock. You should have a boxing MMA shelf behind you or some posters. Well, I got you guys can't see it because this picture's not big enough now, but I got the Mike Tyson, autographed Mike Tyson picture behind me. I just got in here. That's the plan. That was most of the plan for moving up here. Was getting something, like Ariel Helwani's kind of God or something behind me. Some posters. I got some of those bobblehead things, different things I'll get up there. I was hoping to have it up this week, but I was like, I wasn't going to stream until I had it up, and I'm like, too much going on. I'm just going to stream. Sub corner, Hall style. Oh, that Hall sub was absolutely crazy. I'm watching both fights next weekend. 5 fight cards in March. Oh, it's not this weekend. It's the next weekend, though, DJ. Are we going to be able to watch them all? Because I don't know what time Pacquiao Broner is on. I think they might overlap. But, yeah, March is going to be nuts. February is going to be nuts. We're going to have something to do every weekend for sure. If not one fight, too. Kevin Lee just announced his retirement. Said he knows deep down he wants to win. I gotta bring up. I don't know that it'll let me bring up. I was looking on the Canadian UFC site. I think I can bring it up on mobile. No, it takes me to the US site, which now sucks. But, by the way, anybody who hasn't seen the TJ Dillashaw versus Cody Garbrandt 2 fight, it's free on UFC.com right now. So after this, if you want to see that fight, absolutely free. Speaking of free fights, I have a new Fights with Finishes finally finished. And I think you guys are really going to like this one. After this, I'm scheduling it. It'll drop in the morning, so you have to wait till tomorrow. I am done putting it all together. I just have to link the videos together. But not only are you going to get some great finishes, you're going to get, if you haven't seen it yet, the Tenshin Nasukawa versus Floyd Mayweather finish. Then you're going to get the whole fight, Darrion Caldwell versus Horiguchi. over there in Ryzen. I bought that whole Ryzen card. I never got a chance to watch it until today. I put some of that on there. Japan's got a little more, let's just say, liberal copyright laws. So, yeah, this new site is absolute dog shit. I'm going to bring it up on my computer. Because I'm sorry, I got to. Oh, and Damian Maia coming back. You know, I look forward still to every fight that he takes from now on, because I know we're in the last moments of Damian Maia, but that guy is something special. That guy is something special because he's one of the last guys around that can still do it with basically one art. And I mean, that, you know, that nobody's really able to do that anymore. Not at this level. Nobody's really done that at the UFC level for a very, very long time. I know they announced. Oh, Blagoy Ivanov. That's who Ben Rothwell's fighting. Sorry, it's not on the UFC site yet. Kevin Lee just announced his retirement. Says he knows deep down inside he wants to win. He won't win no belt, so he says he wants to go into acting. Good luck with that. Interesting. Derek Lewis versus Dos Santos. That's the fight, Torin Braun. That is a fight. I think Derek Lewis is in a ton of trouble, though. I really do. I think Dos Santos is just that next level. He's that championship level, and he's got the power to hurt him. Junior Dos Santos can still beat any heavyweight living. Rothwell's facing Blagoy Ivanov, the last guy that Junior Dos Santos fought. Nice to have Rothwell back at heavyweight. Return is good, for sure. Off topic, Dilla Snake looking pretty Skeletor-esque. He can have cardio and chin issues for sure, right? He might. I don't know. GSP could be triple champ. GSP is skinny now. Well, we could see a triple champ in whatever happens at 165. I mean, if Dana White, if his entire goal recently is to just piss everybody off, I mean, maybe we don't get 165, but I don't see how we can go through 2019 without getting 165 pounds. And I think when the damage was done from the John Jones thing, with the drug test and the removing, you know, making everybody move from the venue and everything, and I just have to stop for a second and say the UFC did end up taking care of people. I talked to many more people because I wanted the full story. And a lot of them said that they were, not only did the UFC give them first shot at tickets like they said they would, that they saved a ton of money on their car insurance by switching to Geico. No, they saved a ton of money because the seats were much, much cheaper at the Forum. And a lot of fans actually came out of that in the long run somehow pretty happy. Still not happy with everything that went down. But I'm glad you had some fans that, you know, at least felt like they got a fair shake. Ben fight Blagoy Ivanov. I believe that the guy JDS recently fought. Yeah, he did. Mikey Garcia and Earl Spence. I think it will land in a draw. What's up, Juan? Phil Enciano. How you doing, sir? Man, it seems like that's happened a lot in boxing with good fights, and that's another good fight. When's that coming up? That's coming up very soon. GSP should demand fight some other champ like Khabib for 165, new title, 3-time champ, in my opinion. He could. So check this out, Zoltan. You want to see a 165-pound title, and you guys might not like that these guys get this done. But tell me if GSP and Conor McGregor go to Dana White and say, we're ready to fight each other. We're ready to promote this. We're playing matchmaker for you. We're doing the job. Is all you have to do is make that 165-pound belt. Do you think there's any way in hell that Dana does not make a 165-pound belt if Conor McGregor and George St. Pierre agree to fight each other? I don't see how... I don't see how even he could deny that. Volkan Ozdemir is facing Dominic Reyes. That's another great one. Dominic Reyes is a beast. They both are. Today's GRE episode with Dean Thomas is pretty good. I'm going to have to listen to it, Mario. I took a break from Joe. Well, of course I took a forced break because he took so much time off. But I've been going back and listening to all Joey Diaz's podcasts. And it's been a nice change. And I'll go back to watching Joe here pretty soon. But going back through the Joey Diaz podcast, sometimes he has UFC fighters on there too. And I love his honesty and his interview style. Dominic Reyes beats John Jones right now. Wow, that's a bold statement, Zoltan. That's a very bold statement, my friend. John Jones, I don't know if anybody beats John Jones for a while. I seen it was, it was kind of all in fun and games, but they had one of those shows, Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner are doing the back and forth thing at the table, and they're talking, and they ask, who do you think could beat John Jones? Says, who do you think has the best chance of beating John Jones? Stephen Bonner says, Forrest Griffin says, I think both of us. I think if both of us fight him, I think we have a good shot. And that, if you get a focused John Jones in there with the training time under him, and that's very hard for anybody. And Dominic Reyes is very tough. Johnny Walker, he's got the power. There are some challenges out there, but I don't know about that. Look how skinny GSP is now. I'll have to check that out in a minute, Jason. They need a 165-pound weight class and make 175. Yep, exactly. RDA is a perfect example of a 165 for, wow, GSP is skinny. You have to get rid of the 15-pound weight in between classes. The reason they used to have it in boxing is they didn't have enough fighters. And that's the reason they had it in the UFC. They have plenty of fighters now, so there's no reason to have these huge jumps. I remember that in judo, for so long, I went 156 because I was scared to go to 172 because it was a 16-pound jump. And then from 172 was 189. That was a 17-pound jump. And I pretty much stayed at 172 for almost my entire career. I've only competed at 189 a couple times. And that was honestly because I was working so much and I was working graveyard that I just didn't put the effort in to stay in shape. I should have never fought above 172. But yeah, the 156, I think I've said this before, but I was only cutting, 6 pounds. 6 to 9 pounds. The highest I think I ever got up to was 165 before a fight. So I cut 9 pounds. I was a week out, and this was in high school. But I would always get sick, and I wouldn't get my gains from weight training. When I went to 172, I'll tell you, I kept on doing everything I was doing. I ate when I was hungry. I lifted every day. I went to all my workouts. And amazingly, it's seemingly overnight, I got on a scale and I was 172 pounds. And I was actually slightly less body fat. It was like right at the same and like a 0.25% less. So, yeah, he can fight 155s, Jason. GSP has been intermittent fasting. GSP at 155 will be a trophy issue. Will have a trophy issues. Yeah, that's small. I mean, he was always a small 170er though, but then to go up to 185 and gain all that muscle, this is not good on your body to be doing all this. You look at what Roy Jones did. I mean, he started his career, his professional career at 154. I don't know how many people realize that. Started at 154, went to 160. Won all the belts at 168, won all the belts at 175, then went up to heavyweight, fought, I believe he weighed in at 204. He weighed in at over 200 anyways, to fight John Ruiz. 50 pounds bigger than he started. Then you drop down to 175, and I think it ruined all his reflexes and everything else. So, I mean, I know it's not quite that same jump for GSP, but 185 to 155 is 30 pounds. So, do you think Ferguson would talk shit with... Oh, absolutely. He already was. I think he would take a blueprint from Nate Diaz. And that's the thing. It's like if Conor talks shit at you, you come right back at him. You think about it. Make sure he knows, for one thing... He's not in your head. You're not bothering him. And then you meet him intellectually on the same level. And Nate Diaz did that. Nate Diaz is no genius. I love the guy. He's one of my favorite fighters. But the guy doesn't have a formal education. It's not like it's something that Tony Ferguson couldn't do or couldn't learn to do. I ain't gonna lie, when I watched Tony Ferguson fight Pettis, I was nervous because Ferguson was limping. Oh, and Pettis went after that leg immediately. Immediately. So he wants to take out Khabib. What if GSP actually took down Khabib? I can't imagine Khabib on his back. He hasn't spent a lot of time on his back, I wouldn't imagine. This lawyer guy that played soccer with my brother beat Dean Thomas. Damn. At least Colby is trying. It's boring when fighters say, just give me whoever is next or whatever the UFC wants to give me next. I agree. You can't do that anymore. If you're going to get a title shot, unless you have a good manager like Kamura Usman, you can't do that anymore. Colby insult who he wants to fight next. Who does Canelo fight next and win? When? Well, he said that he wants Triple G in 2019, so I'm hoping that's the next fight for Canelo. But I don't know. I know he's fighting on... I know he wants to fight on Cinco de Mayo, of course. I don't think he's getting in a fight before then. He just fought Rocky Fielding, like a month ago? So that would be 5 months in between fights. I think that's about right. I don't think he fights 2 in between, though. So hopefully he fights Triple G on Cinco de Mayo weekend. I believe it's the Staples Center. They have reserved now for Cinco de Mayo weekend. Colby is right. Usman only beating people recently, people coming off losses, and Colby's sloppy seconds. Colby insult Askren. Askren versus Colby after Colby beats Woodley Al this year. Colby, you're just not that good enough. TJ Dillashaw called out Max Holloway, said he will go up to 145 and fight him. Max will beat the brakes off TJ. He's too small in my opinion. I agree, Torrin. As I was saying, I think he would have to hope that Max went up and he got a fight against Frankie Edgar or something. I'm going to watch The Curse of Oak Island after this. Never heard of it. I'll check it out, though. TJ got knocked out by Dawson, who is 5'3". Dodson's got some power. If Dodson can connect, that's the guy that I thought might end up taking Demetrius Johnson out eventually. Of course, he never did, but I said that last stream about TJ versus Max. Yeah, I agree with you guys on that. Tension versus Conor, kickboxing exhibition likely. Because now they both look weak and inactive is back down now. I seen Conor tweeted that. He tweeted that he was going to go to Japan and fight Tension this year in a kickboxing MMA match. And so I don't know if that was a slight against Floyd. I thought maybe he was making fun of Floyd and it was a slight against him. But maybe he's serious. I don't know if Dana has veto power on that. Recently, Dana said he wouldn't allow Khabib to fight Floyd, so I don't know. And he has speed and heavy hands, and he was TKO'd. I remember that Dodson versus TJ fight. I have to watch Fighting Bigfoot after this. Oh, jeez, funny to be. Hopefully they'll find him this episode. Good luck with that comedic. Dos Santos will pick him apart. Lewis easy. Oh, he's way too accurate. Way too accurate. Lewis will most likely... Oh, what's up, Geeky Spartan Gaming in the house? I haven't seen DG recently. Like I've said, off the trivia. I want to start the new season of trivia, but I haven't been able to inscribe the trophy for last year's winner. Lewis by first round KO, says first last. Wow. You know, he got caught... Junior did get caught in his last fight. I just think that Lewis is just too slow for him. I think Dos Santos will do what he did to Mark Hunt but I think it'll be quicker. I think he'll punish him. He's going to hit him with a ton of hard shots, and I think Lewis will go down easier than Hunt did. What do I think about John Jones versus Anthony Smith? It makes me want to cry. It makes me literally want to cry that they're putting that fight on pay-per-view. When I just don't see Anthony Smith as a contender. I don't know if there's anybody worthy for John Jones to fight at light heavyweight. I wish he would go to heavy. I've just never been impressed with Anthony Smith. But I've underestimated him several times and he surprised me. So... you never know. Dana wants Holloway versus Khabib or Conor in spring. I know he wants Holloway to move up. I'm not sure which one was worse, Tension versus Mayweather or Mayweather versus Conor. Tension was way worse. By careful, Junior Dos Santos, you're dealing with a wounded animal. TJ wins at 125 easily. I think he'll win at 125. I think there's no way in hell he beats... Max Holloway at 145, though. I was joking when I said Kevin Lee retired. Gotcha, Torrin Brown. I would have been kind of surprised, but you never know with what's been going on recently. Cejudo is going to get served early. TJ Killishaw. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Cejudo's striking is good enough. His takedown threat won't work like did against DJ. I agree. I think that's a bad matchup for Henry Cejudo. I think TJ is a problem for him. 125 pounds is going away to open up 165-pound division. That seems like the obvious choice, but Dana has not made the obvious moves recently. It's no point in Conor winning a belt. It's not like he would actually defend that bitch, so what's the point? Torrin Brand, I couldn't believe that Conor had the nerve to post an old picture when he goes, I remember the first time I held 2 belts. In the organization he was with before the UFC, he had 2 belts. He won belts in 2 championships, never defended them. Then he comes to the UFC, of course, wins 2 belts in 2 different weights and doesn't defend those. He's had 4 belts, never had a title defense in his entire life. So, like they say, if you're not a champion until you defend, then maybe he's never a champion. 165, 75, 195, and super heavyweight women, please. You can't even get women. You can't even find 145-pound women, though. So, I want to see 300-pound chicks, hair pulling and all, like Walmart parking lot. Oh, I would watch it, Sultan. Don't get me wrong. Thank you, Torrin. Connor doesn't deserve shit. But notice he keeps getting whatever he wants. He's got Ireland behind him. Massive takedowns, half joke. I think Luke Rockhold would give John Jones a run for his money. I know he thinks he will. Luke is another bum. Luke Rockhold has too many holes in his game that his recent opponents have taken advantage of. Yeah, he's been slept a couple times. But here's the thing. John Jones does not have one-punch power. And you probably think I'm saying that I'm crazy for saying that, but you got to think about that for a minute. He's got the kick knockout over Daniel Cormier, and he's stopped a lot of guys. But besides the Cormier kick, he never does it in one shot. It's always through creative striking, accumulative striking, sometimes creative submissions. They eat the Vaseline and drink Mountain Dew, comedic. Oh, geez. Doesn't deserve to fight high-profile fights. He sucks. Cockhold too slow. No chance right now. Only Dominic Reyes and Rumble or DC at heavyweight can beat Jones. I think fasting is good. Everyone has a different body and needs to do different intervals. Rockhold's chin at 205. Romero versus Jones, please. Luke Rockhold is washed up. Rockhold was the best at one time, but I didn't know what happened to him after he won the title. Johnny Walker, that dude's got a shot. I mean, he's just got a very hard shot. He needs to prove a little more first, but I like Rockhold's inverted triangle Kamura against what's his name? Bosch? Maybe it was against Bosch. I can't remember. Connor, you were never a champion. I actually think you ruined MMA, says First Slash. Yeah, Kevin Lee is retired to pursue a career as a Walmart greeter. Oh, jeez. John Jones mostly has power in his elbows. Yeah, he does. When did Kevin Lee retire? I guess it was a joke they were saying. Jason, he didn't retire. I fell for it. Not surprisingly. So we got to take a second to speak about our sponsor here on Fights with Friends. On it, the trifecta of supplements, Alpha Brain, Shroom Tech, New Mood, and I got a story for you guys. You want to talk about needing Alpha Brain. This story is going to blow your mind. So this guy, I call the story Don't Forget. Of course it was out of Florida. Almost everything crazy always happens out of Florida. But this is Miami, Florida. And this guy left his handgun in his second grade student's backpack. Now the student takes the handgun to school, and then the father remembers that it's in there. So he goes to the school and he says, hey, my son has a gun in his backpack. I have to retrieve it. Of course, they freak out. They arrest the father. You know, they have to pull the son out of class. They pull the backpack in. They say, yeah, you know, you got a gun. Father's facing, I mean, literally, this is a true story. This isn't a joke. Father's facing like 20 years, possibly. He's facing anywhere from 5 to 20 years, depending on what they charge him with. And if he would have been taking Alpha Brain, if he would have just spent that $30 a month to buy his Alpha Brain, he might not be looking at 20 years. If that's not incentive to buy Alpha Brain, I mean, if you got kids and you got guns, I don't know why you're sticking them in their backpack to begin with. So that, you know, that concerns me, but that's not the point of this. And the point is this one is he had something he did, and it was very, very important to remember that he did this. He didn't do what he was supposed to do. He forgot. By the time he remembered, it was too late. He's looking at 20 years in jail, and with the power of Alpha Brain, maybe that's all it would have taken. is the power of Alpha Brain, and he would not be sitting in jail for up to 20 years. And these kinds of things happen. People leave their kids in cars, lock them in cars, and they die. They die. Our memories are horrible. I'm not trying to scare people. I'm not trying to, but here's the thing. There are things, we forget things. I forget things over the years. With Alpha Brain, I forget much less. My recall memory is much better. It's less often that I walk up to people and I'm like, hey, what's that person's name? You're thinking it's on the tip of your tongue and you can't remember their name and they won't, and you can't get it. You can't remember their name. What is going on with this? They are not letting me post a link. So YouTube is not allowing me to post a link on my own live stream now for the damn Alpha Brain. You frickin' cocksuckers. Jones ran over a pregnant lady so he wouldn't have to fight Rumble. Oh, jeez. Well, maybe if he would have taken some Alpha Brain instead of been drinking and smoking weed, he would have never lost the light heavyweight championship. Maybe he would remember to check what was in his supplements. Maybe we never think about John Jones the way that we do now. You never know. All right, enough shameless plug on Alpha Brain. And like I said, I have no idea why, but for whatever reason, I think I know why. Give me just a second. I did this as a copy link before I did it as a copy and paste, and that's probably YouTube's problem. They always got some kind of fucking problem. But I think if I do it like that, nope. What the fuck? So apparently YouTube's changed their rules again to try to keep us from making money. I can't even get my own link to my product in my own stream. Well, that is frustrating. YouTube sucks. I'll tell you, between that and, like I said, some issues with Super Chat, I've seriously been tempted to switch over and go over to Twitch and see what they have for me. I've built this community here, and I don't want to believe anybody here, but at the end of the day, you got to make money. You have to make money, unfortunately. That's the way the world works. And all right, enough bitching for now. I think Johnson has the best shot. Says Jason. He might. Jason, he had no shot. I don't know. I think Jones could have gotten KO'd. If somebody's going to beat Jones, I think it'll be with one shot. Coke Norris, no, he would have not. Chael Sonnen predicted Jones would never fight Rumble. I like Chael. What I'll say about Chael, though, is even a broken clock is right twice a day. That guy makes so many predictions that he's bound to be right on something. And you listen to his podcast, and I mean, he's wrong on 90% of the things he predicts. And he doesn't act like he's not. He takes chances. I will say that. Now Rumble would really make Jones think and back up. Jones was good to be backed up out of the sport. John don't want that smoke. I think that would have been a horrible matchup for Jones, though. I agree with that. Jason Azevedo with the donation. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it. I remember Chael did say that. Says first thought, Jones lays the golden eggs for the UFC. No. Oh, so, Jones ran over a pregnant lady soon at the fight Rumble. That's let's put it like this: John Jones would have beat Anthony Johnson. I'm not sure. Never know in MMA. Who would have thought Weidman would knock out Silva? Really? GSP did, actually. Huh. Jones is a smarter fighter than Anthony Johnson. John Jones would have never gotten caught by Johnson. Coke and whiskey and weed is the new training supplements endorsed by Jones and McGregor. Do you guys believe? So Conor swears, he says he's making more money off Proper 12 whiskey than he ever did off of fighting. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. YouTube sucks. Yes, you can. What's up, Harvey Weinstein in the house? What's going on, my friend? You're not doing it right. Help me out, Harvey. Send me some emails. Send me some women. No, you get me in trouble with my wife. Don't send me women. But yeah, send me some tips. I gotta do something. I got the affiliate codes. I got sponsors. I have an official sponsorship through on it. I do get paid. You know, they sponsor the show, so I do get paid for the reads. And I'm working on a sponsorship with the Zone, but I don't know how cooperative they're being or what they're going to end up giving me. It looks like they're going to end up giving me something. They've made me an offer, but it's not... Well, I'll be honest with you guys. I'll tell you what, I'll tell you what they're offering me. So they're offering me, the Zone says, if I allow them to sponsor every single live event, I do a minimum of 5 live events for 6 months, so 30 reads. Then they want to read every hour. So figure I'm streaming, 30 hours a month, so 180 reads. They'll give me 6 months of the Zone for free. So that's $60, and they'll give me a 4% commission on any sales. So I don't know. It's better than nothing, but I'm negotiating with them. I said Johnson had the better chance of any light heavyweight. Jones isn't invincible. Now nobody's invincible. For sure. I think Johnson had the best chance too. If somebody's going to beat Jones, like I said, I think it'll be in one shot. And it could be Johnny Walker. I mean, what cooler name would that be for a heavyweight champion than Johnny Walker? I mean, just that. And you got a guy as your champion named Johnny Walker. And he's got the power to stop people dead. I mean, that is a powerful endorsement. Jones would have gotten his brain rattled like GSP versus Hendricks by Rumble. Holloway is invincible at 145. No one is. 1 million or nothing. Border Fox. Holloway is at 145. Who can really beat him there? Like Keith Sweat says, nobody. Yeah, nobody at 145 is challenging Max after the way he blew away Brian Ortega. And I don't think anybody else at 145 beats Brian Ortega, honestly, outside of Max Holloway. If Max Holloway moves up, I think that's Ortega's division. Now, I know Ortega thought that he could beat, that he could beat Holloway or he wouldn't have taken the fight. But he would have been better off of waiting. He let Holloway move up. Brian Ortega takes over the division, and then you build all that, you build all that intensity, you build all that marketability, because people want that fight that much more. And then Brian Ortega, even if it's not true, it doesn't really matter. He could be like, Max Holloway never fought me. He jumped weight divisions to get away from me. That's what I'd say. Do I think Brian Ortega can beat Holloway in a rematch? First loss, yes, I do. I mean, it's possible, but I would still make Holloway a heavy favorite the way I did the first time. Ortega is too far behind in his boxing. I think Holloway beats Ortega in a rematch too. Oh, yes, he can. What's up, Archangel? Azrael. Buddy was squeezed the Jesus out of him. Send some of those pills to Jamal Charlo. Send some alpha brain to those judges, too. Jesus. Which one of the Charlo brothers, their names, there's Jermel and there's Jermal. So I mix them up. I'm sorry. The names are literally a letter apart. I can't remember which one got ripped off. But send some alpha brain to those freaking judges. The Ortega fight should have been stopped a round earlier. Absolutely. I love you guys, but I'm sorry. I don't see how you see that fight going any other way. I don't see how you guys think that Ortega wins a rematch. I thought Max won that extremely convincingly. I don't think he left any doubt. I don't think he left any doubt whatsoever. But Ortega was tough. Like you said, he was too tough for his own good. Ortega has last minute to prepare for Holloway. Holloway had all 2017 to camp. Why didn't Holloway have more time though? I know he fought Edgar in between, but he knew that fight was coming for a long time. So I don't buy that excuse. That was the kind of fight the fighters leave a piece of him behind in the cage. Definitely could be, Jason. Definitely could be. That's a fight that's either going to make Brian Ortega better, or, like you said, yeah, it'll affect him forever. He may never be the same fighter. I think he'll be okay because he's young, but it's hard to say. Man, I really, really wish Kevin Lee would get better stand-up. His stand-up is okay, but it's average at best. I mean, he trains as Mayweather Gym. So, Alpha Brain. Can I just not type? Oh, it's not letting me comment in my own chat. So let me close this. That was strange. That was extremely strange. All right. Are we still live? We're still live. I finally figured out, for whatever reason, it wasn't letting me post any comments. And now it's got me signed out. So give me just a minute here. All right. But yeah, like I said, I think Holloway destroys him in a rematch. But you never know. Who wins Cain and Francis? Let's switch to heavyweight though. Let's see if we can get this damn link up now. There we go. All right. Now I can get the original link up. That was really strange. I thought they were blocking me from linking to my own site. They just weren't letting me even post. That's just some kind of strange glitch there. So we'll get my real link up, and I sorry this is taking a second, but this is also a commitment to On It for sponsoring with them. So I mean, not only would I appreciate the orders, obviously, I have a promise to them so many times to plug this link. So there you go. You don't want to go to jail for forgetting your gun in your 8-year-old's backpack, or, you know, accidentally leaving your baby in the car seat and they die in the heat, or your animal. Get yourself some Alpha Brain. Dos Santos was never the same after fighting Cain. He's on the comeback, though. But, man, he got cracked in that last fight, though, against, what was it, Tyson Pedro? He did get cracked for sure. Cain versus DC. That one I don't think will ever happen. Those guys are too good of friends. That's like Woodley and Askren. Cain's weakness is his chin. Ngannou's weakness is his wrestling. Do you guys think that Dana White had any idea when Ben Askren's begging, pleading for years to get into the UFC? Do you think he had any idea that Ben Askren was going to get into the UFC and then refuse to fight the champion in his own weight class? I think we have to ask that question. I think that's a fair question to ask. As much smack as Ben Askren has talked, and I'm a fan of both of them, but as much smack as he's talked, as much smack as he talked to get in, as much smack as he talked to Dane, as much smack as he's talked to every other fighter, he won't fight the champion in his own weight class. That seems like a problem to me. Wouldn't mind seeing Renato Moicano versus Max Holloway. Renato's going to have to get back past Jose Aldo. Is that a hell of a fight or what, Torrin? Renato Moicano versus Jose Aldo, are you kidding me? That's a crazy fight. Ngannou is definitely going to taste that canvas with Cain. Oh, yeah, he'll take him down for sure. Zabit Magomed-Sharipov could maybe be Holloway. Zabit is very good. That's a good point, Jason. He might have the best shot. I don't think Cain has a very bad chin. No, I don't either. Jermell lost. Thank you. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure because their names were just one letter apart. I personally want to see Max defend his belt a few more times before he moves up. That's the one, Zabit. Thank you. Chew on Max. Defend more for legacy. If he beats Zabit, then he has to move up. Because there's nobody. Jason Azevedo, Max Holloway destroys Zabit. What's wrong with you, bro? What type of weed you been smoking? Talking Zabit can maybe be Holloway. I don't know, man. Zabit's got a pretty good set of skills. I would definitely pick Max in that fight, but I don't think that's the craziest prediction ever. Max won't last very long, in my opinion. He looks punch drunk already. That's what I thought leading up to the Brian Ortega fight, Jason, and then everything changed for me after that. And he was talking normal, and I went back. What I did also was I listened to well over an hour of him speak that week of the interview. And then I went back and I got interviews from a year ago, from a year and a half ago, and from 2 years ago. And I listened to like 2 more hours of interviews. I listened to almost everything out there between MMA Junkie and, Ariel Wani and Luke Thomas and everybody else that had Max Holloway on through the last years, and compared those tapes. And he's almost, talked that you could say almost like a little punch drunk. I don't know if it's like a surfer kind of thing, but he just doesn't. He started fighting when he was like 17. Jason punch drunk. Zabit is about to get smoked by a killer at UFC 235 in March. Max is a true warrior. Much respect. Hey, let's end this out. I think we're close to ending this out, but let's end this out on the UFC site. And props to Jason Azevedo for showing me where you can still get a great site, UFC.ca. Don't go to the US site. Go to the Canadian site. Every time. I'm telling you. And Jason and everybody else, the wife's working on the shirts too. She's actually got the shirt, but it's not in the house right now, so I can't take a picture of it up. But they will be for sale. Hopefully, I'll be posting some this weekend. All right, let's bring up some of these UFC fights. We'll get on the phone for the comments here. Jeremy is going to knock out Sabit. Who the fuck is that guy? Sabit ain't do it. Not many can. Jeremy Stevens can catch anybody, though. But this is what we have to look forward to very soon. Right after this next Saturday. Henry Cejudo versus TJ Dillashaw. Gregor Gillespie versus Yancy Medeiros. Joseph Benavidez versus Dustin Ortiz. Paige Van Zandt versus Rachel Ostovich. Glover Teixeira versus Ion Cutelaba. Alex Hernandez versus Donald Cerrone. Are you kidding me? The Cowboys back. Joanne Calderwood versus Arian Lipsky. Alonzo Menifeld. This guy is a friggin' animal. Versus Vinicius Castro. John Lineker returns against Corey Sandhagen. Dennis Bermudez versus Tay Edwards. I mean, this is like an all-star lineup right now. Bilal Muhammad versus Geoff Neal. The most jacked guy at 170, possibly. Randy Brown versus Chance Reconter. And to end it all out, Greg, the woman beater Hardy versus Alan Crowder. No. Greg Hardy, the heavyweight, versus Alan Crowder. Crazy crowd. Crazy freaking event. What is that? 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 fights. And the worst fight on here is Randy Brown versus, on paper, versus Chance Rencounteur. That's your worst fight on paper. Right there. And let's look at Randy Brown. Randy Brown's got a victory over Mickey Gall. Randy Brown went the distance with Bilal Muhammad. He got caught. Nico Price got lucky on him. He's got a victory against Brian Camozzi. Against Eric Montano. That's the weakest fight on paper on this entire card, I believe. And, I mean, this is better than a lot of pay-per-view cards this year. A lot. $5 a month for ESPN Plus. Not bad. Not bad at all. Jeremy is going to knock out Van Zandt. Got married. Who'd she get married to? She get married? Is that her that was dating Cut Boy? Boy who just got cut. See, just automatically leaves my memory. Once you leave the UFC, I just erase you. There's no more space for you anymore. Cerrone has a record for most wins in UFC. Might as well keep going. If he can win, great crazy eyes Hardy. I love it. Shit, only 19. Guy was 20. Why can I not think of the young guy that just got cut from the UFC? I made a freaking video on it. I'm telling you, literally, when a fighter's gone and I don't have to think about him anymore, I erase him from the memory bank. That guy's not coming back. He's not in the Fights of Friends memory bank anymore. He's not coming back. All right. So enough there. But that's a crazy set of fights. That's absolutely incredible. Vanderford. It's going to be a Vanderford now, huh? Interesting. From Van Zant. Northcutt. Thank you. Sage Northcutt. How in the hell could I forget that name? It must be time for me to go to bed. I don't know. Don't forget, like I said, tomorrow morning, the first notification that's going to slap you in the face at 5 a.m. is the new fights with finishes. Not only are you going to get knockouts, hold it for just a second, first last, or piss in your pants. Not only are you going to get knockouts, and not 5 knockouts on this, you're going to get 6, well, you're going to get finishes. You're going to get 6 finishes, one from a European, at the beginning, one from a European organization you might not be as familiar with. Then you're going to get 1 schoolyard finish I just threw in there as a bonus. You're going to get Tenshin Nasukawa versus Floyd Mayweather. If you haven't watched that yet, watch it with me commentating it. Then you're going to get 3 fights that are 3 finishes off of the Ryzen 14 card from December 31st. That's all on the fights with finishes, smacking you right in the face like a big titty at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. How could you wake up to anything better than that? You're literally gonna get 7. You're gonna get 7 finishes. 7 finishes. 5 from Ryzen 14, all for free. Fights of Finishes, Episode 3, finally. All right, now you can go to the bathroom first last. If I was a lady fighting Van Zandt, I would try to pop her fake boobs. I didn't know she had fake boobs. If you're wondering how far a great physique will get you, Sage Northcutt, nice guys finish last. Sage was young, though. Sage was young, for sure. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. I'm going to get some sleep. If you want to get chicks, you have to work on your abs. Yeah, I got to be to work at 5 a.m. too, first last, and I got to be up at 3. And I'm still drinking beer, so, but I'm an animal. And I have alpha brain, otherwise I'd be screwed. Don't forget your alpha brain. I got to put that up one more time. I don't want to see you guys in the situation where you accidentally forget your handgun in your 8-year-old's backpack or something, something crazy like that. You lose your passport and you get stuck in Japan. You have to learn Japanese. 10 years later, you're still trying to get back to the United States. You get kidnapped by some, buku crazy people doing some kind of underground hardcore porn. And all because you didn't want to drop the $30 a month on Alpha Brain. Shout out government shutdown, says Archangel. And if the government took some Alpha Brain and they could actually concentrate on something for more than 5 fucking minutes, maybe we could get the government working back up. Is anybody missing anything? I'm not missing anything. I could care less about politics. I just want to see people beat each other senseless. Is that too much to ask? You get caught with a picogram of Trenibol in your system, you should have taken Alpha Brain. Absolutely, Jason. Nice to see you live on a Wednesday, Mike. Hey, nice to see your fine ass pinhead, Bob. I love you guys. As always, I love you. I respect you. And I'll see your fine asses later.